What's up, guys? So this is something we're doing that's new. It's called Influencer Extra. You may have seen one already. We did with a new hire we made from NBC in New York, Liz Ballard. What we're trying to do is, even though we have DocuSeries episodes coming out every other week, in between those, we're trying to let you in on maybe some things you saw in the DocuSeries, but more in longer form. And so this is an example of that. And it's fun because I just closed a $1 million post-revenue seed round for Influencer at a very nice valuation. I'm really excited about it. Did it with local investors, all from Birmingham, which is really, really cool stuff. And what I was doing was I was meeting with my lead investor, and he said, hey, I actually have some people down the hall that I mentor. They're entrepreneurs. Will you speak to them? So I walk down, meet them in this conference room, speak to a bunch of local entrepreneurs, talk about the entrepreneurial roller coaster, what it takes to raise a round of capital, get the valuation you want, etc. And then he signs the documents and a check for a six-figure plus investment right there as I get done. So it's a really cool clip, and it really gives you insight on what it does take to raise a round of capital and what your metrics have to be like and what it took for us only 8 months into the business to raise $1 million round. So I hope you enjoy it.
And we meet once a month, and all of these guys represent small companies. They're either in the beginning phase, startup phase, or in the first 2 or 3 years of their business. Most of them are obviously going to be looking for capital, and I was just telling them, I gave them a 2-minute intro to you and Jonathan and what we're going to be talking about today. So
yeah.
I'll leave it to you to take the show.
Jonathan, come on over here, man.
You guys want to see you on stand?
I'll sit and stand, kind of, as long as this table doesn't slide back on me. Well, first of all, when Tom hit me up this morning, I was pumped to come in here because I know a lot of you guys already. And, you know, I could come in here and like talk about all the fun stuff and get you guys all excited. But I think what you can relate to more is the hard stuff, right? You know those graphics you see sometimes where it kind of shows like what everybody thinks it looks like, you know, Fast Company magazine. One of my favorite entrepreneurs, Dave Ramsey, says we don't want to be on the cover of Fast Company, we want to be on the cover of Slow Company, right? We're a 20-year overnight success, right? But our society and our generation, Generation Y, or at least my generation, we love the quick fix. And you're even probably a generation lower than me, Drew. And I mean, you know, the reality is the quick fix is not reality. So what does it really take? And I think I'm still learning that answer, but I have a lot to share about what I think that answer is. And there's words that sum up the answer, like perseverance and character and faith. But some things I wanted to share today that I'm excited about, I think sum it up even better. And so about 2 years ago, we had our first ever Sloss Tech event. Gary Vaynerchuk was here speaking. He did a good job. And you know, one thing that he said, coming from New York City, and he's built, you know, $150 million ad agency up there, and a personal brand that includes a lot of best-selling books and all that. But one thing he said was, cities like Birmingham, Omaha, Nebraska, you know, Little Rock. I mean, name a city like Birmingham. They need to get a win, right? He talked about that. Cities need a win. And when they can get a win, it can create an ecosystem of basically successful entrepreneurs coming back into the market and investing into young entrepreneurs. And it becomes this ecosystem, this cycle that can create a movement. And even if you go back to San Francisco and Silicon Valley, you go back to Fairchild, right? Middle of the 20th century, the microchip, Moore's Law, every 18 months, the amount of transmitters doubles, right? Like, what's happened since then is there have been successful companies that have benefited from the microchip, created companies that have been successful, had exits, and then reinvested in other young companies, and it's exponential growth. And so, why can't we have that in Birmingham? I don't think there's any reason we can't. But what does it take? It doesn't just take investors. See, I think being in the depot for the last 12 plus months, I've been around a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people just like myself. And I came off a decent exit, you know, from Iron Tribe, and we built something really special. And, you know, I came in here, helped my wife launch something, but I knew I was gonna launch something of my own. And I've noticed that a lot of people complain about Birmingham from an investor standpoint. And I think some of those complaints are relevant, right? I think that there could be more sophisticated investors in Birmingham, and they could not value everything off of EBITDA, right? And they could understand how to value a tech company off of top line revenue and user count. Sure, there could be. But there also could be entrepreneurs who are willing to put their skin in the game from whatever capital they can scrounge at the beginning, whatever talent and grit they can put in, to get a prototype launched, get paying clients first, get enough paying clients that can prove your prototype and develop it to the next level so that when you get in the conversation with the investor, you have leverage. And the investor doesn't just say, hey, you're doing good, talk to me when you get some clients. You actually got some clients. You actually got some progress. And so this isn't me saying we suck as entrepreneurs. It's just me saying let's step it up. And not just in Birmingham, but any city that wants to have wins and create this ecosystem, let's step it up. Bill Smith and Shipt have had a win. Jeff Gall and Ticket Biscuit have had a win. Tom, Dave Gray, and Daxko have had a win. I would say Fleetio has had a win. Like there's a lot of wins already happening. And companies like Airship coming in and supporting those wins, and accelerators like Velocity coming in and giving birth to Quantalytics, which is two guys coming from a Fortune 500 bank job that a lot of kids would kill for coming out of college. And one of the guys from Buffalo, may I add. I'm from Syracuse. And others from Nashville. And they start something here in Birmingham and take a risk, And the more we do that, the more we not only have guys doing that, but we have women like Liz, who just joined our team to lead client strategy. And Liz comes here from New York City, NBC Universal, leading the charge for brand and athlete partnerships with the Olympics. 7 Olympics she worked under doing that. And now she's in Birmingham working with Influencer, right? That's what happens. And so, but we have to play a part in it too. And the more we do, the more the sophisticated investors will come on board to what we're doing. And the more the investors who maybe have capital but aren't as sophisticated or privy to technology investments will learn, right? And we can create an ecosystem. And the ecosystem, to tell you the truth, could be even more powerful. And I know this is an outlandish statement than a San Francisco, and here's why. Better cost of living, better cost of doing business, better proximity to more potent markets. Say it again. Better cost of living, we all know that. I have 3 kids. We live in Rossbridge. What we can get versus what my best friend who's an entrepreneur in LA can get in Marina Del Rey is a lot different per dollar, right? Let alone the cost of doing business. It's unreal. Even down to, people are very happy with a 6-figure salary in a startup environment here, but, you can't live off of 6 figures in San Francisco or New York, right? So the third thing I said was better proximity to more potent markets. The South is the South, right? I'm a Northeasterner. I remember when I first came down to the South for college in the early 2000s, I used to always quote, more than 3/4 of the business that's done in the United States is done in the Northeast, and 10 other quotes like that. And they're proper quotes, but the reality is a lot of the big businesses in America have changed. We're falling apart, right? My dad worked for Carrier for 25 years. He lost his job, had to redefine his career. And a lot of those factories are gone. A lot of those businesses are gone. And the Northeast and a lot of these traditional cities are redefining themselves too. But we have the opportunity with the Charlottes and the Nashvilles and the Atlantas and the New Orleans and all these cities we're around to build companies that serve businesses or consumers in those cities first, and we can get to them easy with a drive. So I could go on and on and on about this, but I'm very passionate about it, and I think as entrepreneurs, if we all can be passionate about it, we can get through the hard times, and we can get each other through the hard times. Everybody here should have at least one guy who they're sharing everything with and who's holding them accountable. Not just in business, but as people, right? Like Tiger Woods, the golfer, is the same guy as Tiger Woods, the person. And we saw that didn't work, right? So it's the same thing here. Like we need people that are gonna hold us accountable as people and in business. And we need to have a plan. And when we don't succeed with our plan, we need to have people that can help us set a contingency plan so we can get back on track. And that's also part of the ecosystem. So these are all things that I'm very passionate about. I said that, and I'll end with this. I said that I wanted to also, not just talk about all the fun stuff. I feel like I've attacked some of the hard stuff, but one thing I want to say is, like, for me, it's been way harder than I thought it would this time. Last time, I had a guy I was in it with that we were together all the time. This time I've been on my own as a no co-founder. I'm just a founder. That's been tough for me. My wife and I co-founded a business at the same time. I have 3 children. My mother-in-law moved in our house to take care of them so that me and my wife could chase our entrepreneurial dreams in our mid-30s. It's been tough. Trying to work on getting new clients on board while getting investors to invest, while getting big-time partners to do partnerships with us to help grow faster, while attracting talent all at the same time is hard. And so December was like a really tough month for me. After an amazing first 5 months of the business, we didn't sign a deal for the first time in December. And you could make excuses. Yeah, it's Christmas time, New Year, whatever. But everybody, all of the people around me are telling me I got to raise money. I don't know what that looks like, and there's a lot of work that goes into putting a raise together. But I sat down at the end of the month, that week between Christmas and New Year's, and I basically said, okay, Jim, you have a 60-day exam, and there are 10 questions. And if you get a 70 or better, you've done well. If you get less than a 50, you might need to talk to somebody and get some help. And try your hardest to get to 100. And I put 10 deals, whether they're client deals, new team members, investors, partners, on this whiteboard in my house, in my home office, that I would look at every day for the next 60 days. And below the 10 things, each one has a little checkbox. And if I succeed, it gets a green check. And if I fail, it gets a red X, right? Just like grammar school. And I put at the bottom blank out of 10, and then I put blank %. And then I put 3 bonus questions, things that would be really awesome if they happened in the next 60 days. So if one of the things didn't happen out of 10, I could make it up. And here I am 44 days later, and I'm already at 5 out of 10. Now, I feel like we could actually get 10 out of 10. It's still alive. But the point is it's not a wish anymore. I wrote it down. And I have had some tough moments in the last 44 days going at this thing. Like days where I was like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? But then I've had some moments where it's like, man, there's not anything else I'd rather be doing. I am like, God, thank you for leading me here. And I think that the quiet times where you have either of those situations are where you find out about yourself and who you are. And you realize, if you think about some of the stories in your life, how you thought something was so bad when it happened. But you look back at it, and while you wouldn't have wished it happened when it did, you realize that that thing led you to something you never could have planned yourself. You've heard the cliche, Hollywood could have never wrote this script. That's my life. I'm sure it's yours too. So embrace your script, push through the challenges, define what success is, help each other and hold each other accountable, and realize that we've got a responsibility as entrepreneurs to get to a certain level before we ask for investment. Thank you.
And last night, Carol and I had the pleasure of having dinner with he and his wife, and I like to see the interaction between couples like that, and it was all very positive. So we're investing in Jim's company, and I wanted to bring him in and Jonathan in, because if Jonathan's invested, I'm investing. It's that simple. I kind of see the vision that he has, the dream that he has for his company, and that's the part I can identify with. You got the paperwork. I'm ready to sign.
Yeah.
I want you guys to see.
Jonathan's already signed.
Your investment in this guy. And Carol and I Wish you could have been here today, but this all happened within the last 2 hours, or 3 hours. So if you'll show me where to sign.
Right below your name.
Okay,
And if we want to add Carol later, we can, but this makes it official.
okay. You got my email?
Yeah.
And I'll fill out my address later.
Yep.
Signature is the important thing.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Well, and I appreciate it, Tom. Yeah, I mean, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, man. Thank you, brother. We should have waited and you could have signed here instead of. So that was cool because I didn't know who was going to be in the room, and there's a lot of guys in there who've got some really good things going. And hopefully, they were. I lit a fire under their belly.